Let's get excited. Today we're going to learn about what tapering means and what tapering does for your body when you're running or biking or training for a specific race. I'm also going to be teaching you how to properly taper so you're able to crush your next big race and tremendously exceed your expectations. Welcome back, everybody. I just came off a good weekend of running. I backed up a good 20-mile trail long run with another medium 12-mile trail run. So good effort, and I'm feeling tired but pretty good and strong right now. Let's get excited. Today we're going to learn about what tapering means and what tapering does for your body when you're running or biking or training for a specific race. I'm also going to be teaching you how to properly taper so you're able to crush your next big race and tremendously exceed your expectations. So the term tapering in regards to running is defined as reducing the training load. There are three ways that I do this and that a lot of people do this. One is reducing volume, two is reducing intensity, and three is reducing frequency of activity. So I'll go into a little bit of detail here. Reducing volume could be defined as cutting back on your weekly mileage. So say your 100% mileage that you average throughout a training block, you'd be cutting that down less and less leading into your race. I know some people train by miles done in a week, and a lot of other people train by time of running per week. It goes both ways, and it works here for both of them. I try to average a 100% of what my largest weeks were, and then that's my 100% weekly training load. Intensity is your hard efforts or how intense you're running. So interval training, mile repeats, long sprints, these are all high intensity activities that provide a lot of stress to the body. That's good early in the training and through middle of your training block, but we want to cut that back so your legs are recovered and ready to go for the big race. And lastly, the last way to reduce your training load is by reducing the frequency. So cutting back on the amount of runs or bike rides you do in a week. So some people like to run every day of the week, all 7 days. Some people only run 5 or 6 days of the week. But leading up into your race, I found that it's beneficial to cut back a day to 2 days leading into race week, just to make sure your legs are fully ready to go when you hit that starting line. If you're liking the content you're seeing and I'm helping with your running and training and getting fit or preparing for a race, please like and subscribe. Share to any friends that you have that are trying to get into training as well. So how you taper is very dependent on your body, the race you are doing, and how you feel the month leading up to your race. Typically, the way I've tapered and the way I know a lot of people taper, the duration of this would start 2 to 3 weeks before the race. This training block for my 50K, I wasn't very consistent in the beginning and middle of my training, so I ramped up about 6-7 weeks before my race, so I'm going to be taking a shorter taper. It's only going to be 2 weeks. So, and at the right before we start our taper is when we want to have our longest, hardest long run or a race simulation effort. So, for example, people training for a marathon about 3 to 4 weeks before their marathon race, they will likely do a half marathon just to prepare your body, getting your legs ready for that speed you're gonna need, and just a lot of time running at your race pace, and that prepares your body. This weekend I had, it wasn't my longest run of the week, but the 2 combined days, Saturday being that 21-ish mile run on our ski mountain on the trails, and then Sunday, following that first run with a 12-mile, about 2-hour effort on trails as well, was the longest combined back-to-back days that I've done. So now I'm going to start my taper to start recovering and making sure my legs feel fresh and ready to go for the big race. So how these 2 to 3 weeks typically look in my calendar when I'm running this is, after finding what my 100% weekly mileage is, or that average of my longest weeks throughout my training block, what I'll do is I'll take that 100%, will be close to that last week before I start my taper. And if I'm doing a 2-week taper, what I'll do is I'll do that 100% week, and then I'll do a 75% of my total distance or time that I've done, and then the last week will be a 50% of my longest weeks. And that's just a progression of coming downhill, and letting my legs recover and have easier weeks. If I was doing a 3-week taper, I would reduce the distance by a little less, but it would be 1 more week. So I'd start at that 100% week, that last long week. Then I would cut it to 80% of that distance, then 60% of that distance, and then the last week I would have at 50 or 40% of that distance. How intensity would look, if throughout my training block I'm doing 1, 2 or 3 hard intensity days, whether that be long tempo runs, tempo intervals, track shorter interval trainings, I'd cut that from 2 to 3 hard interval training days down to 0 or 1, depending how I'm feeling. I'm not going to be doing any interval training these next 2 weeks. However, I will do short tempos. I might do one this week on Wednesday, just to keep my legs fresh and the blood flowing through. I'm also going to do some strides after a couple of my easy runs, just to make sure I have the blood flowing through my legs, and it helps loosen up the legs so you feel better. Cutting back on frequency, the way this looks in my training block is typically I'll be running 7 days a week. So the week, 2 weeks before my race, what I'll do is I'll run 6 days a week, so I'll take 1 day off. And then the week before my race, I'll take 2 days off, so I'll only run 5 days. And if I were to have that third week, I might cut it back, so I'm only running 4 days, and I'll have 3 days off the race week. During the taper, I'll still do long runs. They'll be medium long runs, and the distance on those will look very similar to my percentage of mileage for the week. So after that longest run, I'll cut it back. So 2 weeks before the race, I'll do, it'll be about a 75% of the length of my longest run. And then the week before my race, I'll do about 50% of what that longest run would be. Finally, during the couple weeks I'm tapering, my nutrition, I'm going to start trying to dial in a little bit more, focusing on eating a little bit healthier and eating more carbs. So what this would look like for me is I'd try to eat a little bit less meat. I still eat red meat, chicken, but what I'm going to do is focus on getting those simple carbs in. So that could be pastas, different types of noodles, different rice. I like to do rice and chicken, or rice and beef or venison is a meal I really like. It's easy on the stomach, and then loading your body with carbs before your race helps your body fuel up on what is essentially its energy source, carbs. I even like pizza. Pizza's a good one. I would avoid pizza with a lot of grease and meat the night before, just so you're not don't have a heavy stomach. But the cheese and the crust on pizza is really good carb for your body to absorb and be able to use as energy in the big race. So that's all I got. Thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks. Bye.